Hi there, STM. So the library looks a little different now that we are in this new normal situation. So I want to give you a tour of what a normal day looks like and the kinds of things you can expect when you come. Because we do want you here in the library. Just a few more hoops we gotta pass through. So when you pass through the doors of the library, you're gonna see a couple of signs that you need to pay attention to. First, most of the time you'll probably see the reserved sign on the left side door. You will also see the sign that says welcome with a appropriate sign up. So there are a couple of things that you're going to have to do in order to come into the library at the end of the day. If you have not already explored this website, this is where, at least for the start of the year, you will be signing up to come to the library. Once we have Moodle, we will put together a separate instructional video on how to sign up, and the instructions for how all of this works are in two videos that we have linked here to our sign up page. They are also available on our STM Library YouTube, and you can always get up-to-date information because things are always changing in this world on our STM Library Instagram. I won't spend time talking about how to sign up. It's really just about what to expect when you physically come into the library. So if you have in fact signed up to come to the library, or perhaps your teacher has signed your entire class up to come to the library, you are welcome to walk through those front doors. If you see any of these other signs, please be cautioned that you should not be walking through the doors of the library. If there is a welcome faculty and staff only sign, then unless you're faculty and staff, please move on to your next class or to where else you might need to be at a given time. If you see an exit only and the sign directing you to the testing entrance, that means it is an AR deadline, or in the case of orientation days, very close to an AR deadline, and we are only taking AR testers, and we will enter through the back of the library. And all the instructions on how that particular lineup procedure works are in the videos I mentioned earlier. If you see a sign that says the library is full, it may be after school, it might be during school, but for whatever reason, it's full. You cannot come into the library, even if you would like to print. If you see the library is full sign, do not enter the library. We really do want you here in the library. So when you are able to enter the library, you'll do a couple of things. You will always scan in. We will have a scanner set up next to our sign that says scan in here. That will only start once you actually have your IDs. And you will return books in the book drop should you have one. Once you have signed in, you will enter through the silver sensor gates, and you will then turn to your right, and if we're there, say hello to your librarians, Mrs. Sulik and Mrs. Johnstone. If you were coming to take an AR test, then you would turn to your left and make your way up the stairs as long as there was no one else going down those stairs. And you would make your way to one of the 9 computers that we have set up within this social distancing world where you can take your AR test. Beyond the stairs of the library, you will see a corridor that leads you into the main space. Within this corridor, you will find a number of things. On the right-hand side, you will find 2 of the 6 main printers that we have on campus. At any point in time when you are looking to simply print in black and white, if you walk past the doors of the library, you can see directly to these printers. If there is no one standing at these printers and there is no sign on the door that says that the library is full, you may come inside, log into the printer, and get your copies. Otherwise, we ask that you move along to another one of the other printers on campus. The short bookshelf here in this space includes both spiritual reading as well as quick reads that you may be looking for at the end of a grading period. we also have a number of displays of some of our newest books in the library. On your left, when you walk into the main space of the library, you'll see two things that you might find interesting and or important. First of all, we have a display of periodicals, different magazines that we subscribe to. Due to the nature of needing to quarantine materials after someone has used them for 15 minutes, we will have a container where you can put any magazines that you've been looking at, and we will store them away for several days before putting them back out on display. You'll also probably want to know that Mrs. Lagrange's office is located here at this point in the library. Due to the need for us to keep our numbers below 25 in the library, most of the time during the day, you will find her in the help desk. The help desk is going to keep their door between themselves and the library shut, so you will need to go through the main door outside the library that's part of the hallway in front of the art display. You'll need to go through that door if you need to access the help desk, find Miss Robin or Mrs. Lagrange. On the other side, across from the periodicals and Mrs. Lagrange's office, you will find usually our main display of books that you can choose from, as well as the non-fiction bookshelf. Here is where you will find AR books that are nonfiction and biography, in case that is a particular type of reading that you need to find or enjoy reading. One of the things that our sophomores, juniors, and seniors will definitely notice is how there are far fewer places where you can actually sit within the spaces of the library. And we have asked that, because we have measured everything out, not only to be optimal for classes that might attend during the course of the day, but also for those 6 feet of social distancing, that anytime you come across a chair that has been placed somewhere, it needs to stay put where it is. Obviously, you can pull it back from the table and sit at the desk, but it cannot be moved to a different position at the table or desk. It has to stay in the position where it is. And you will see signs throughout that identify this, as well as reminders that furniture must remain in place at all time. Students really do enjoy using our study carrels, and we have tried to leave as many as possible. However, you will find that the majority of these are closed. If you see a chair positioned on the study carrel in this way, it may be that we intend to use it only as needed during class times, but that chair must remain as it is and the carrel is closed for use. A few last signs and restrictions that we have to put in place within this new normal will be that we can only accommodate one student per aisle of books. So as much as you often like to gather together to either look at books, visit with your friends, we can only have one of you per aisle. Same thing in our more open shelving, only one student at a time. We will obviously come by and help you, but we are trying to eliminate as much congregating as physically possible. We have 2 aisles in the very back of the library which are going to be closed. One will have no entry at all. If there are any books in that section, and we have strictly moved nonfiction books into that section that do not have AR tests. If there are any books that are located within that area, if you request them, we will retrieve them for you. We have another area where we have strictly relegated all of the art books, and an entrance into that area will require special permission for coursework that you are doing. It makes us very sad that we have to close things and restrict things, because the whole idea of a library is to make it more open and accessible So one thing we have done, and this will be important to a number of our students who have a particular type of book that they like to read, is that we have moved the sports books away from the round tables because we know that they would be in a place where we would not want people sitting as well as browsing books. So those of you who are looking specifically for sports, both fiction and nonfiction, can find them on the back side of these shorter shelves closer to where our fiction shelves begin. We have signs there, but I'm just going to point an arrow on the screen so you can see them. We know it's going to be strange. We know it's going to be an unusual experience, but we really do want you to sign up to come to the library and visit us, find those books, get help with your research projects, whatever it is you need, and we are so happy to see your faces, even if it is only half of them, back in our library.